Okay, I'm down to my second whiskey of the night. This is another one that I'm revisiting after a while because, as you may or may not know, whiskey does change when after you open the bottle for the first time. The whiskey reacts with the air, it oxidizes, it changes, usually for the better. And from time to time, I will go back to a whiskey that I found not to be quite right when I first tried it, in hopes that with time, in an open bottle, it changes and improves. This one has really gone down in the last 2 months and a bit that I've had it open. I'm not sure if I had any help with that. Or maybe the other thing is when when a whiskey is bottled at 40% ABV, I tend to start my flight with a 40% ABV whiskey. So they tend to disappear faster than things that are at 46, 48, 52% or cask strength. But then the cask strength ones kind of disappear fast too, because when I find myself towards the end of a flight and I want one more, I want a stronger one, I want a much stronger one, and that's when I reach for the cask strength. And I don't bother adding water to it, I just enjoy it as it is. But these are my drinking habits and my way of doing things. Every one of us is different. We have our own ways of doing things. And this one, if I recall, don't like these plastic corks. This Wayne Gretzky double oaked was a little bit too much for me. Too much spice, too much oak. I'm thinking and hoping that it has mellowed with time. It has calmed down a little bit. Yes, I definitely get oak. I definitely get a lot of oak. But the oak smells good. Oak, some caramel. What does it say about it? This quintessential Canadian whiskey is twice barreled for a smooth, complex, and balanced taste profile. First aged in American bourbon barrels, then followed by a second maturation in recharred number 3 American oak. Infuses this whiskey with, okay. What do I get? Some toffee, oak definitely, some vanilla, and for the oak, I remember when I was a kid, one of my neighbors had an oak tree, and of course the acorns would fall to the ground all the time. And being a kid and being curious, I would sometimes crunch those acorns. And when I did that, the meat inside the acorn smelled a lot like what I'm getting here on the nose. And curiously, I didn't get that so much on the neck pour. Now that it's been open for a while, it's had a chance to mellow. It's had a chance to settle down. Definitely a lot of oak. Vanilla, butterscotch, toffee. I think chocolate might be a bit of a stretch. But I'm getting something like that. Almost a mocha. A mocha with my oak. Okay, I'm going to taste it now. It's quite viscous for something bottled at 40%. You can see the legs forming on that. And those droplets are slowly coming down. Yeah. A lot of oak, but it's not as spicy as it was before. The edges have been rounded. This is much better than it was 2 and a bit months ago when I first tried it. It has become a pleasant dram. Yes, there's oak. There's definitely a lot of oak. There's definitely toffee and vanilla. And oak. A little bit spicy. But not overly so. It's oaked in the same way that it's like a Woodford Reserve double oak. A Woodford Reserve double oak is not too oaky, it's just the right amount. And I'd say that now this has opened up and this has had a chance to mellow down and settle down. It has become a very enjoyable dram. I don't think it was very expensive either. They say notes of vanilla, clove. Yes. Okay, I get that. Toffee somewhat. Coconut and subtle smokiness. I would say the smokiness is very subtle. And yeah, clove. That's right. Sometimes the power of suggestion really works. Other times you're going, what is that? What is that? What is that? And then it says over there, clove. Oh yeah, clove. No wonder I'm reminded of something that I had 40 years ago, or almost 40 years ago. It was a Malaysian clove cigarette called Gudang Garam. And the Gudang Garam, apparently, according to a Malaysian friend of mine, we studied together at university. And he said that Gudang Garam The only people who work in the factory are all virgins. They have to be virgins to work in the factory. Interesting superstition. But they had these clove cigarettes that you'd light them, and when you'd inhale, or when you take a haul on it, it would go pop, 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 pop. It would pop. My Malaysian friend was saying that he was walking down the street one day, and he was smoking one of these clove cigarettes, and it was going pop, 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 pop. And a policeman saw him and caught a whiff of the cigarette, and he was about to bust him for doing drugs in the street. And of course, my Malaysian friend would pull out a pack of smokes, and it would say "Gurang Garam," clove cigarette. Yeah, this is a bit like that. Yeah, now on the nose, I really get the cloves now. And I was trying to pinpoint what that was. I was just saying oak, oak, oak. But yes, cloves. Would I buy this again? I would. But first, I would open it, pour a dram, let it sit there for a while, and then seal the bottle up, and maybe come back to it again after about 6 months. But the trouble is with 40% ABV whiskeys and liking to start a flight at 40%. Yeah. Liking to start a flight at 40%. This would disappear as fast as it did this time. In fact, I'm looking at my bar right now, and just about all the bottles in the first row, which are mostly 40% ABV, they're down to about that much left in them. Not much like this one. I will have to stock up on 40% ABV whiskeys. Isn't that an interesting thought? And if I can stock up on a bunch that I haven't had yet, that would be even better. So I'd be looking for some Canadian, some American, well, maybe not. Some blended whiskeys, yes, there are probably some blended whiskeys I haven't ever had, and probably some that I haven't had in a long time. Maybe some, is there a Lowland at 40%? Yeah, there's Auchentoshan, I suppose, which I could get. Then some Speyside, some Highland, some Island whiskeys, and then some Islay. I will go hunting, maybe next week. This week all I could afford was a bottle of Alberta Premium. And of course, next time Lisa comes over, that bottle will be gone. Well, cheers.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Food Quig.
Yeah.